All right, welcome back to another episode of Small Guys Podcast. Today we are doing Titanic. 1997, James Cameron, a 17-year-old aristocrat falls in love with a kind but poor artist aboard the luxurious Titanic. This movie has a 88% critic score, a 69% audience score, runtime of about 3 hours and 15 minutes. We do have a special guest, Erica Beals. Erica,
Hello?
is this one of your favorite movies? Not your favorite, but one of your favorites.
Not even one of my favorites. It is my favorite.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
Wow.
Only movie I watch.
All right. Yeah, I was wondering that. And then two, we just talked about it, but you had seen this in 3D, right? The new 3D release?
Yeah. Saw it in 3D. It was fantastic.
Okay. Yeah, I saw the only change, really, I looked it up, between the original cut and then the 3D is they changed the stars when Jack's looking up before he saves Rose. Early on in the movie, he's looking up at the stars. I guess Neil deGrasse Tyson corrected James Cameron where the stars were supposed to be or something like that. So I thought that was kind of neat. Yeah,
that's
but besides that,
a little bit much.
Yeah, I heard it looked pretty great, too, like in 3D. So I have not seen it in 3D, but I heard great things.
I'm not going to lie.
It almost seemed like more color to it, too.
More color? That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I mean, he knows his 3D with Avatar and all that, so.
Yeah, seriously. I'm not going to lie, though. I was really surprised at how this looked. This is my first time watching this movie. I know, roast me whatever you want. Roast me whatever you want to do, but just knowing that it came out in 1997 and just looking at it, I'm like, dude, this kind of looks better than some of the movies that I've seen like come out in the past couple years, and it
holds up really well.
And it's almost 30 years old, like 25. So I was really surprised by how it looked.
All right, no need to round up the 30 years old there.
Yeah, this is only a couple years before we were born.
Yeah, that's a young 20.
We are almost 30. I'm almost getting to that point where I'm closer to 30 than 20. So
yeah, and I have some movie trivia at the end, which we always do, and I'm sure Erica will probably steal some of my notes here. But I do have some cool things I want to just say about the movie beforehand because I was looking into it. This movie costs about $200 million to make, which costs more money than the actual Titanic itself, which is kind of crazy. With inflation, yeah, it is. With inflation, this movie made $2.2 billion, making it the fourth highest grossing movie of all time. James Cameron turned down the $8 million salary for this movie and instead requested a percentage of the movie. The studio did not expect the movie to make that much money, though. So
smart.
Yeah, he ended up walking away with a huge bag there. The movie was originally in theaters for 9 months, and the studio had to send theaters new film reels as the old ones are starting to get ruined and wear out. This movie had 14 Oscar nominations. Crazy. The studio also offered to pay $10 million to rebuild a replica of the Titanic, but James Cameron wanted to crash it multiple times, so they said no. They ended up building one side of the ship, and then when they'd show the other side, they would just mirror it and reflect it in the editing room. So that's really cool. I did not know all that stuff beforehand. The fact, too, this movie costs more than the actual boat itself is insane.
That actually, I was really surprised, and I'm glad that you said that because I wanted to know how they did this. Like, how did they make it look like the actual Titanic, first off? How was it not crazy expensive? I was just really curious about how they made that all work. But I think for the most part, like I said, like it looked really fucking good, especially for the year that it came out. And there's really not any points in the movie that I can look at and be like, "Oh, that kind of looked like dog shit." Like I was generally impressed throughout the whole movie.
I would say I felt the same, Mike. And this is the first time I ever watched it, and props to you, Erica, for getting us to watch this because I'll be honest, I probably never was going to, and it was only because, nothing against it. Like I thought it was a good movie, but 3 hours and 15 minutes is like that's a day's event.
Yeah,
it's a commitment.
Well, I sign up for that.
I split it up in 2 days. Right when it was about to sink in the movie, like at like an hour 40, I was like, you know what, like I can't do this. This is a whole nother movie itself. Like I'm gonna go tomorrow. Like finish this. Like this is a little bit too much for today.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too. Is the first. Oh, you go ahead, Eric.
Go ahead, Jeff. No, I was gonna say I just remember the first.
Sorry. You go ahead.
Okay. No, I was just saying, like, the first time I watched it, I was like a kid and my sister was watching it, and we literally had it on the VHS tapes, and it had like a part one and part two. So you would like watch the part one of the VHS tape and then
Oh wow.
take your break and then move on to the part two. And no, it's a commitment. It's a long movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I could probably guess just from knowing you two so well, this is probably the only movie in the top 10 highest grossing movies of all time that you hadn't seen. Probably. There's
for me,
Avengers
Mike?
up there, Star Wars. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Avatars. So that's kind of cool that you guys were able to see it, and it seems like you guys enjoyed it. But yeah, the first.
I was gonna say, I think yeah, well, you're on a roll today, Josh.
I love Titanic.
I think you're sinking the podcast here.
Yeah.
I think the reason that I didn't watch this for so long is just because it was one of the movies that I know what happens. It's not like, oh my god, like how's this gonna end?
And, I mean, it's pretty comparable to Oppenheimer. Like, what's gonna happen.
That's true.
I just think Christopher Nolan is years ahead of James Cameron when it comes to directing. That's my personal opinion.
Yeah, but give him a little bit of a break. 1997.
Oh, 1,000,000%. I think if it came out this year and you reversed with like Oppenheimer, like it would be the same talk, honestly. Like it'd be a big movie, people would want to go see it, and it'd probably still make the same amount of money if I had to guess.
I think you're right.
Have you guys seen the pictures of the Titanic and then like a cruise ship nowadays? How much bigger it is?
Yeah. It's tiny. It's
pretty crazy
compared to like a modern cruise ship.
Yeah, it's crazy to look at because you I mean, when you think of the Titanic, you think of this huge ass boat, and to think of it that way is crazy. But to go through the movie, obviously it's a long movie, but I feel like it's almost broken up into parts. Like in present day, you're there at the very beginning of the movie, and then you're there at the very end. There's a little bit in between the movie where you go back to present day just briefly, but mainly I would say you're in present day at the beginning and at the end. I want to say too, the shots of the Titanic under the water were actually from like James Cameron going down there to take videos and pictures of it. He's been down there 12 different times, I believe. So I thought that was really cool. Those shots were really cool.
He very recently became like a submarine expert when that whole thing happened. He was like, he was always I wouldn't have done that. Oh, I've been down so many times in the submarine. All right, dude, calm down.
Yeah,
we've talked about this before. How much like I dislike James Cameron as a person. I remember when Avatar came out, me and you, Josh, were talking about it. I was like, dude, he's just a cocky prick. And then I went and I absolutely loved Way of the Water. Me and Josh were mind blown when we seen it. And I don't know, like he's just a little bit of a Mr. Know-it-all, in my opinion.
Okay. I mean, great director though.
He doesn't 100%. Hold back. Yeah, and I was going to say, I mean, he does kind of. I think we said this too, Mike. Like, I remember that review actually, and we were like, yeah, he is a bit of a dick, but he does tend to deliver. Like,
like if you bring it, like you bring it, like you can't hate it, but you can hate the guy. Like, I mean, it's like that bowler. He's like, he's like, you might not have liked me, but you'll remember me, whatever he said. Like, who you are? I am that guy. You know what I'm talking about?
I'll be honest, I don't. But
oh my god, oh my god, guys, come on! What are you living under a rock? Yeah.
So the opening of the movie, we see older Rose, 84 years later. What did you guys think of that, Erica? Do you like the way the movie starts?
I like it. I like seeing her kind of skipping ahead, but like I like how she lives like such a simple life. Like she's in her house doing pottery when she could just be loaded. Like I think that was a cool like setting the scene of the movie. But yeah, I like the layout of it and how it was set up.
So I'm not gonna lie, really quick, Josh. I don't know why I just thought of this, but I seen the beginning of the movie on TV like 2 weeks ago. I seen like this old lady being flown in a helicopter and brought on this ship, and I was like, what fucking movie is this? And next thing I know, I seen Leo drawing the picture of the naked lady. I'm like, is this Titanic? Like, I gotta go watch this. So obviously we're reviewing it, and I watched it probably like a week later. But it's really funny that I seen the old lady like getting carried down on the ship, and I was like, "What the hell is this movie?" And it turned out to be this. So I thought that
Well,
was
luckily
funny.
too, you didn't watch it on TV because with the commercials, it's probably like 4.5 hours.
Oh,
I can't even
absolutely.
imagine.
Oh, I would lose my mind.
You know what I mean?
Awful.
Like,
Yeah.
that's a lot, and then you can't pause it to go pee or walk away for a
Yeah,
little bit.
that's
or
one of
whatever.
those things that like would probably, if you have cable, it's like on from like 12 to 7. Like just
Yeah.
that. That's the only movie that's on.
Yeah.
Needs a huge window to be in.
Yeah, get ready to sit down and spend your whole day on the Titanic.
And just know James Cameron gets a percentage of that, whether it's a couple cents or not. Like every time it gets played, whether it's in theaters or on a TV screen, he's getting money from that.
Yeah. Well, I guess before going more into it, does it surprise you two, who just watched the movie for the first time, that this movie made so much money in the box office that it lasted in theaters for 9 months, got re-releases in 3D? Like, did that shock you guys or no?
Was there anything else huge coming out at the time? If not, then no, I'm not that surprised.
I know Harrison
'Cause, I
Ford
mean, it is
had
a
a
good
movie
movie.
coming out, but he pushed it back because he knew it was going to be a big deal. And another movie came out with this, but it was really small and it got destroyed. No one saw it.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay.
So
Yeah, for me, honestly, like no, it didn't surprise me.
Yeah.
I will say, James Cameron is a douchebag for re-releasing it, and when Avengers came out, when Endgame passed it,
He was
He
like,
really-
all right, get
that was
this.
Avatar.
was it Avatar?
Yeah, that
It
was
still
Avatar.
re-released though. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're still right.
No, it was
Still
Endgame.
right.
I promise you, it was Endgame. It was one of the
No,
two.
it was Avatar when Endgame came out
Yeah.
to try to repass it again.
Oh, that's what it was. Avatar.
Yeah,
My bad.
yeah.
Now,
Yeah, see,
Mike,
like-
will you be mad if we see Titanic 2 drop with James Cameron?
I mean, I hope there's not a Titanic 2. Like, I hope people don't die. But I mean, if that happened,
Will you
would
go see it?
I would
Okay,
see it, but
all right.
I wouldn't enjoy the fact that James Cameron is directing it.
Okay, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah, and
Did you
I
guys see
like
that
how
there was like a new? This is
I knew what.
no. Did you?
Fire it off.
sorry. Did you see that they're having like a new Titanic ship, like
Really?
like an actual cruise that people can go on? Would you go on?
Why?
I mean, if it
Would you do
didn't
it?
work once,
I don't know.
For-
Is it styled like more modern, or would it be like a 1912 like type ship? Like, do you know what I mean?
Probably like better engineering, but same like a replica.
Aesthetic.
aesthetics.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
I'd be tempted.
Well,
Honestly,
Would there be a
Well, I'd
first?
have to make sure it makes its first trip. Yeah, I'd have to make sure it makes it through at least once.
I would like to see the path too. You know, I'd be like, let me see the path. Where's the boat going?
Any
Are we
icebergs
clear?
by chance?
Yeah. Any icebergs in the route? Let me know.
Bring your
Honestly, I
own
feel like I would. It
inflatable
would.
life raft.
Would you
I
do it,
feel like-
Erica?
It would be cool.
Yes. Would you guys go on a submarine to go see it, despite
Hell no.
recent? If it was like
Uh,
better
that-
engineered,
No,
No.
no.
Well, the fact
What?
too, it's like $250,000, right, to go see it or something like that. So
if it was a
Something
paid
ab-
trip,
Nope.
If
I
it-
don't.
I would have to get paid to go do that. Honestly, just the
Really?
thought of going, like, just with everything like that happened recently with that dumb, like, you understand like why. I'm sure if that didn't happen, then maybe I'd consider it a little bit more, but no.
yeah.
The idea of being like trapped in a tube does not appeal to me at all. Like, even before that submarine thing happened, like, I would not get on a submarine. I don't think I would want to do that. That does not sound fun to me. Now, would I go get on the replica Titanic? Yeah, probably. That might be fun.
yeah, and I've
I'd
never
give it a
done a
go.
cruise or anything like that, but I'd be willing to, if it's called Titanic 2 or Titanic 2.0 or something like that. I'd do it.
Titanic resales.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be cool. That sounds like a movie title.
yeah.
Uh,
Titanic New
yeah.
Voyage.
I like in the movie at the beginning how Rose kind of tells her story from her point of view, but it's not throughout the movie, we're also getting Jack's perspective too, which I really like that a lot. Because they could have gone in a way where it's just every scene Rose is in or she experiences, and I'm kind of happy they didn't go that route. But the fact that she's telling the story, I feel like is a great idea for the movie. And I like too how they explain at the very beginning of the movie how the Titanic actually crashed. So like it hits the iceberg, ends up splitting into two. It lasted about almost 2 hours, and then the second half goes up vertically and then comes down. So like if you watched the movie and didn't know that, and they didn't have that scene at the end of the movie when you're watching it, you're like, why is the boat tilted that way if you don't understand physics? But like they explain it to you earlier on in the movie, which I really like that a lot too.
Yeah, I agree.
So, and then we're introduced to Kate Winslet as young Rose. I think she did a great job. That's another thing too. And sometimes in some of these romantic movies, either one of the leads isn't that good, or maybe both leads aren't that good, where they don't have the chemistry. Her and Leo definitely had the chemistry. I gotta believe maybe they dated in real life or something, because like they're so good, and she was a great character too. So, which is a great thing.
Another Spider-Man and MJ type deal.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah, I honestly, like, there is no way. Like, this reminds me of like A Star Is Born with Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga. Like, there is rumors and reports like, hey, like these two are dating. There is no way they have this good of chemistry on screen, and they're not like dating outside of like the movie. Like, there is no possible way. And honestly, I agree. Like, this falls, I think, just in that category of they have to be dating because the connection is so good in the movie. You know?
Yeah. Erica, do you like their chemistry?
Yes, as like an actor and actress. I heard they're still like great friends in real life too.
That's good.
Like I heard that kind of carried on after the movie. But yeah, it almost makes me wonder like was it just the movie or were they actually
I guarantee it wasn't. I guarantee it
I'm
wasn't.
with Mike.
Sneaky,
I heard they had to
sneaky
do like
dirty dog.
Those dirty dogs.
I heard they had like long recording days where they'd go like 14, 15 hours a day shooting. Kate Winslet really had a hard time because, especially in the parts where they're in the water, most of the actors were able to wear like bodysuits underneath so they could kind of stay warmer. Where the dress she was wearing or gown, basically you could see through it. So she wasn't able to. She's one of the few that wasn't able to. And yeah, I guess she would get like frostbite, hypothermia. Like she had a brutal time filming this movie. She said she'd probably never work with James Cameron again, but she ended up being in Avatar 2. So she did work with him again. But yeah, I did feel bad for her. She actually was quoted saying one of the times where she woke up while filming, I think it was in the middle of the shoot, she said that she wishes she would just die so she didn't have to finish the movie. So it was hard on her, but it's hard to imagine it without her. I think Gwyneth Paltrow was pitched for the movie, but she declined. And then I think I saw Johnny Depp for Jack, and he declined, and he regrets it. So it's hard to picture the movie
He's
without these
Captain
two.
Jack Sparrow, though. You know.
Yeah.
he would have saved the ship?
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I guess so. It's okay. So it's funny because like he paints it in a picture. I think throughout the whole movie, and this is not to give James Cameron too much credit, but he paints it in a
Mike
picture.
never will.
Yeah, I never will.
Yeah.
But I'm his number one hater. I'm his number one hater. That's me.
I can tell.
But he paints it in a picture where it's like you almost believe that they're gonna get out. And the same thing, it kind of reminds me of Oppenheimer. It's like maybe like, hey, something good of this happens, and like, you know, like we're not starting a world war and race and arms and stuff like that. It kind of reminds me of that. But I think he does a really good job of just capturing like just that rush of like, hey, maybe we can escape. Maybe like this is something that we can get over and get on a boat. But obviously, you know, the fate.
Yeah. Well, and two, they foreshadow a lot. Oh, this boat's indestructible. Titanic's indestructible. So they say quite a bit. Especially like Kale's character, who's played by Billy Zane. Amazing antagonist. The guy's a dick. Like he's a jerk. No one would like him. And I think they even did a good job with him being in the movie as well. So, but yeah, I want to mention that. yeah, the way I look at the movie, because like Mike said, it takes about an hour 40 till we even see the iceberg. The first half of the movie really is just a romance movie completely. And the
Yeah.
second half still has the aspects of it, but it's also like a little bit more horror and like sad too, obviously. But I think my first time watching it when I was really, really young, I was like, come on, get to the iceberg part. And now it's like, now that I'm
Let
older,
me see this thing sink. That was literally my
yeah.
thought when I was watching this movie. I'm like, all right, when's the
Well,
boat
now,
sink?
I feel like now that I'm older though, and I've seen the movie before, I actually appreciate seeing like Jack and Rose and their bonding. Like when he's teaching her how to huck a loogie over the side, like it's funny, it's sweet, it's like that's what builds things up. So I
My
liked the beginning half.
my ADHD just wanted to watch the chaos. I was like, all right,
Yeah.
let's get to the point where stuff starts going haywire.
Me too. There's a couple like scenes in this movie that like have been memes that I've had no idea like what they came from. And when Rose's like older character, she's like, it's been 84
Before you-
years. Like
Yeah.
I was like, oh, like I've seen that before. And there was one
Or
more that
even
I
the paint me like your French
Yeah.
girls, like that.
Yeah.
That's a big one too.
Oh, yeah.
There's some crazy lines in this movie where it's like they're insanely popular, and then too, even the music in this movie is a huge deal. I feel like I hear that theme all the time too.
I was gonna say when I heard that theme when they first meet, and obviously she's her arms out and Leo's behind her. I was like, oh my god, like yeah, I know that for sure. Because even at the beginning, it was playing like a little like at
Yeah.
first like it wasn't full, but it was
Yeah.
like it was a little,
Yeah, as it goes throughout the movie, it gets a little faster, louder, and I saw that James Cameron said he didn't want to use any like modern music for the movie at all. So, they had to come up with the original stuff. Another great thing by James Cameron there, right, Mike?
yeah, bro.
Yeah, but I guess Erica, do you have a favorite scene in the first
Mike
half
does not
before they
care
get
about
to the
him.
iceberg part? I guess maybe when he's at dinner with them. I feel like there's a ton.
I love when he goes to dinner with them, but I love when he brings Rose back to that like below deck little party. And I love the way
Yeah.
that she's able to just blend right in with everyone. Like you would think she'd get down there and be super uncomfortable, but the way that she's like shooting the beers and she starts dancing with everyone, like I think that's such a cool scene, like just to show like it's almost like they appreciate like the different senses of classism in this movie where it's like he can go up to her deck or whatever and then she can go back down to his like and everyone also like finds a way to fit in. But
Yeah.
no, that scene is I love that scene.
Especially too when they show the gentlemen at their kind of after party where they're just kind of sitting there quietly, like whispering
And it's just
talking.
silent.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like boring. Like, yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
That was really cool. And then
it
too,
goes to,
even the
like,
camera work in that
blasting
scene.
music.
Yeah. And that the camera scene too, where they're dancing and like you get the first person view of like Rose and then Jack.
Mhm.
And then you see it later on in the movie too, when Rose is trying to go get help when the water's coming in the hallways, and like that. It's like those kind of scenes really push you into the movie where you feel like you're one of the characters. So it's really cool.
Mhm.
I will say the hierarchy with like the classes kind of really pissed me off. He
Keeps
does a
it
good
real.
job. He does a good
Yeah.
job of keeping it real and just showing the differences, especially in the time period. I think, and it's still something today probably, but nowhere near as I think is worse back then. But just seeing like the first class, second class, and obviously,
I think the difference now, Mike, is like you're either part of the top or you're part of the bottom now. Like there's no first, second, like, oh, here's the weight stat. Like you are on that ship. Like the new Titanic will either be like you can afford a ticket or you work on the Titanic. Like there won't be
Okay.
any economy class Titanic.
well, not to get like too deep or like too. Like I'm not to get like too deep into it, but like yeah, like there's a top 1% where like you can pretty much own the Titanic. I think the second one is where you can afford it, and the third one is just like you are struggling to like eat day to day, like people in like Africa or things of that sort,
Yeah.
Too, before we get to the second half of the movie, I want to mention the poker match that or the poker hand, I guess, that Leo wins, Jack wins. That guy has got to be counting his blessings after he saw the news, right? That he lost his ticket to. Like, oh, thank God I wasn't on there. I don't know. I thought that was kind of funny. That was something I wanted to mention. Uh, but yeah, I guess we can get to the you know, the iceberg part. Technically, the
Yes.
lookouts are looking at Jack and Rose, and they're not paying attention to the iceberg. So, is Jack and Rose responsible for the Titanic?
I
Although they
think
didn't
they
exist
are.
in real
They're the
life.
sole like people responsible for all the deaths. I'd say you could do that.
So it's not the captain. It's not his fault at all, and it's definitely not
No.
the creator of the Titanic that
Nope.
persuades him into turning on the engines and going faster. It's neither of their faults. It's just pure Jack and Rose.
I'd say maybe you
Yeah.
could blame like the boat too. You know, it should have been better. Why was the boat not better? Boat be.
Unsinkable.
Yeah, I thought it was. This
I
sounds
thought it
like
was too.
bullshit because now it's a $2 billion movie.
Well, no, and I think it was cool them showing like the pistons and everything underneath the boat of how it worked. I thought that was really cool, especially when they had to reverse or try to turn the boat.
Yeah, because they
I don't
didn't
know.
have to show that, and it was a good little
No,
detail.
yeah, it was cool, and it built like the anxiety of coming
100%.
towards an iceberg.
It was
Yeah.
all right. It was all right.
And I like too when it happened, it slowly becomes panic, but like you follow the characters that know what's gonna happen. Like Victor Garber's character, who me and Mike know from a certain TV show.
Dude, I was
You
gonna
kind of
tell
see him,
you.
Mike.
Yeah, I seen him. I'm like, oh my god, that's him from Legends.
See, that's funny because I saw Titanic first, and I knew he was from Titanic when watching the show. So
Really?
I thought, yeah.
Damn.
But yeah, I liked his character a lot too. When last time we see him, he's looking at the clock. He's by the fireplace. You know, he's going through it himself, but he's explaining to everyone how, how we only have maybe an hour or two tops. You know, this thing's going to go down, and it just slowly unravels from there. I don't
Now,
know.
question. There is different compartments in the bottom of the Titanic, and they said, or he said that 5 of them were damaged, and if it was only 4, they can get past it. But because it was that 5th one, it was gonna sink. So is that like actually accurate to real life? Is that how it went in real life?
Yeah, so this movie's really realistic, down to even the interior of the boat. The only thing that's a little different is in the movies, the main stairs to the clock, are bigger, whereas in real life they weren't that long. So,
Oh come
like, it's
on,
down to
who's even?
well, that's the
Who
thing. They
even
send, they
cares?
send those
Come on,
Yeah.
they send
James.
those
Who
drones in.
cares
They
in
look at
reality?
everything. Yeah, so he really cares about the attention to detail. Also, too, the picture that we get of Rose at the very beginning that they recover ended up selling in real life for like $16,000. Now it's worth way more. But back in
I know
1997.
I have
Oh,
it.
you're the owner of
On-
it?
Yeah, it's on my wall. I'd
You,
flip the
you
camera.
dirty dog.
I'd flip my camera, but that's just probably not
Well,
a good
Rose is probably
idea.
the first person to have her nudes leaked in the modern world. I feel like I'm showing it on the news like that.
Yeah, honestly, that's a
little
really good way to
outrageous.
view that. Wow.
Yeah, a little
That's crazy.
outrageous. No, but yeah, uh, yeah, I saw about the picture selling for 16,000. I was like, damn, that's crazy.
That's
That's
insane.
I
a real thing.
imagine Rose creating an OnlyFans.
It would go
She
crazy.
would make
Clearly,
she would make bank. She could buy 4 Titanics if that was the case back then.
Mike, if her photos selling for that much, she's really the founder of OnlyFans too.
If you want to view it that way, I think that's a very good viewpoint, Andrew.
Yeah. So, what did you guys think? I guess when things start to unravel, when people start going crazy. I know Mike mentioned about the different classes and how they kind of. I mean, they had them locked downstairs in the corridor or whatever you call those. I guess the room area. But what did you guys think of that? All that. I mean, that's crazy.
I mean, it gets tense quick, and you can feel it. Like the people that are on there with how they represent it. It's scary. Like you're like you're not biting your nails, literally, but it gives you that you might be. I don't know. It gives you that sense and that feeling like, oh my god, like all right, like also because you know how this is gonna end. Like some of these people are not gonna make it as like things are starting to heat up, and you can kind of put yourself in their shoes for a second, like you said, Josh, like the people at the bottom of the ship. Oh my gosh, no way would I want like. I've been on a cruise. It's also weird, like we should bring that up. That like if you go on like a modern day big boat, like if you think about the boat sinking, not to get like too philosophical or anything, but like you think about Titanic, like that's the impact it has on like our like society, I guess. Like if you go on a cruise ship and you think like, man, is this gonna like, that's what's coming to your mind, like the Titanic. Oh, you know. So
Yeah.
something just to bring up that I thought of, because I've been on a cruise. I feel like I thought about the Titanic when I got on there. I was like, oh no, this better not turn into the Titanic. I think I like
Well,
looked at the lifeboats and I was like, oh no.
we haven't talked about Kathy Bates, her character.
Oh yeah, I liked her from The
I like
Office.
I don't know her. I just know her face. I forgot there's a couple movies that she's in that
You
I know.
recognized her from The Office, right, Andrew?
I did, yes.
Okay, all right. Just making sure.
Who else? Who was, not to jump far too ahead, but when they are they're looking for dead bodies after in the water.
Yeah.
Who's the main lead that's like with the flashlight?
Oh, I'm not sure actually. He did look
He's
familiar.
a really, really familiar face too.
Yeah, hero. He's a badass. I want to ask Erica this because this is one of my favorite moments in the movie, and you know I have a few of them. But the band playing, what did you think of that? What did you think of those characters?
Yeah, that was like another one
know.
of those scenes where like the band is playing above deck, like it's so peaceful and quiet, like that people are worried about like getting their stuff together and like what they can package, and then it like switches to a scene below deck and it's just chaos. Like I
Yeah.
think that was such like a nice touch to the movie because it just shows like while people are literally drowning in the basement, the people upstairs are worried about like the music and like what they're packing for this sinking. Like just a good touch to the movie.
You guys
Yeah,
got everything. It looks like the boat's going down. Oh yeah, you know, people down
Yeah.
underwater.
Well, yeah, because
I've
they're
seen,
told to
Like,
play to
the
calm them
white dress
down at
because it
first.
doesn't match.
Yeah.
Like stupid stuff.
I've seen that scene like referenced before too, like in the workplace and stuff. Like, oh yeah, like everything's a disaster, but like the band keeps playing, like things just keep carrying on. Like
I have heard that actually. Is
like
that from this?
it's gotta be, I imagine.
Probably.
I don't
Yeah.
actually. I imagine that's what it's from, and I didn't connect the dots on that till 2 days ago. So
Yeah, and not to jump ahead, obviously, you know, we flip between different characters and how they're taking it, the news that the ship's drowning. But I like that the band plays, and then once things get really bad, they're like, okay, you know, it's been an honor playing with you guys, you know, but let's stop playing. And I love how he just continues to play by himself, and they all come back to join him because they're doing what they love. They're going down the way, but they're doing what they love to do. Like they're not freaking out, you know. And so I really like that aspect a lot because different characters take it different ways. So I thought it was cool for them to show it that way because that's how it would be in real life. Some people would freak out. Most people probably would, and then other people would try to be calm or, you know.
who are you guys? I'm still playing. I
was just gonna ask you guys, what do you think? To be honest,
I'd
I wish I was noble and could just be like calm and like. Of course, I'd want to help people, but I would absolutely freak out. I definitely would.
I think I'm too calm for that stuff. I'll just let it go. I just get my flute out and just my violin and just play away.
Well, I'd be getting out a lifeboat, so sorry guys.
Yeah, you would be.
Okay,
If
it's available. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I'd be struggling to try and get on the door.
Yeah, I think about this like if just knowing like me, if I were on that ship, like I feel like I wouldn't be able to like take someone's spots. Like I think about like the old couple that's like laying in bed in the basement. I'm like, get them on a lifeboat. They deserve it. Or like the mom reading to the children downstairs. Like, I don't know. They're just
Erica, that's the scene that probably gets me the most.
Oh my gosh.
The mom reading to her kids breaks my heart. I tear up every time. It's so hard to watch. Putting them down to bed. It's so sad. It's so sad.
Yeah.
I'm getting teary-eyed.
I'll tell you guys mine later when we get towards the end, but that one gets me too.
Yeah, that scene. And then too, the old couple, you know, that's based off what really happened too with them. So
I'm sure.
It's just sad. Yeah,
How do you know?
knowing that
How do you
the
know
movie,
that?
they found their bodies together
Oh.
in the room, and then I have a trivia thing that I can mention right now. But I guess the wife said, if he can't go with me, then I'm not going. He's the love of my life, some around that. So, and
Erica,
that's
you and
she told
Vin,
that to his
you
son.
guys in bed, calling it a day. You don't have to answer.
Erica
Start
can leave.
huh?
Bye,
Yeah.
bye,
Erica's like, I'll
Vin.
tell you a story. I'll tell you a story. I lived for you.
Think about that. I don't think I could. Like,
Yeah, that would be hard.
just to know I'm leaving him behind, like, I don't think I would. Like,
yeah.
I'd rather us do whatever we have to do together. Like,
Sink with the ship.
because it's like then I'm on a lifeboat going who knows where. Like, I don't know. I just
And who
Yeah.
don't
knows
think I
if
would.
we'll survive or make it. It's freezing out
Right.
there.
Like,
Yeah,
I'd
because
rather
that's
us
the
be
other
together.
thing. Like, yeah, just because you got on a lifeboat, I mean, I guess in this
Where are
case
you
it
going?
did. But
Like,
yeah, where are you going in the ocean? Like, it's fucking
Yeah.
massive. And two, you're like Josh said, you're still not guaranteed to even make it. Like, you might just struggle for 5 more days. Like, I guess
Right.
in modern times it's probably a little bit easier. You know, the Coast Guard and Navy and everything could get there probably a little bit quicker than when this was. But I mean, did they ever say how long like that like rescue process?
So in the movie, they say they'll be there in about 4 hours.
Oh, damn,
And
that's
they only
pretty
had
quick.
about an hour left. Yeah, so it wasn't looking good, and
Yeah.
it didn't turn out good. But yeah, and like Erica said earlier, they had boats, and they mentioned this in the movie with 12 people on them when you could fit 70 men. So it's like you could fit more people. So it's outrageous that they had boats that weren't even close to being full at all.
Not
It
even
could've
like
saved our lives.
remotely close. Not like at 45.
Yeah, it's insane. So that always blows my mind when I watch this movie too, and it pisses me off. But
Me too.
just add on to that. But
I
yeah,
don't know. Like, can you actually imagine that happening to you?
no.
Like, just like being on the Titanic and just like truthfully, like,
When I went, I don't know if you guys have been on a cruise. I went on a Disney cruise when I was probably like 10 or 11.
was Mickey Mouse there?
Yeah, the whole crew. Goofy,
Minnie,
Mouse.
Goofy.
Yeah, they're all there. They're all hanging out. They come in actually, Mike, while you're sleeping and like stand over you.
Cuddle with you.
Yeah, they make sure you know who's boss.
Oh my god.
No, but on day 1, you actually have to like in groups as a ship go into the auditorium, and they just kind of that's the one and only cruise I'd been on, so it could be different for like maybe a carnival or something, but they actually tell you like you're in like an auditorium, and they're just like, here's what we will do if there's an emergency, here's the noise, and you'll go to these said boats, and you'll like, now I don't know how practical that is in a real life emergency. At 10 years old, I was probably just like, oh, okay. I'm not really paying attention. I'm hoping my parents are. But like thinking back on that now, like, how are you assigned a boat? Like, there's no way I would be like, oh, okay, wait. Let me get to boat 17C. That's the only one that I'm allowed to survive on. Oh, 18D is available. Sorry, kid. You gotta go. You're a 17C survival boat. I don't know if that's what it's like for other cruises, but that's what it was like for Disney, at least.
Well, and two, they like the Spicer character mentions that he had an idea to want to put more boats on there, just in case, and they said that it'd make the deck look too cluttered or too crowded,
Yeah,
so
we
they
can't
didn't end
have
up
that
doing it.
looking ugly.
Yeah, so unfortunate that they didn't listen to him.
Mike or Erica, have either of you guys been on a cruise?
I
have not.
haven't.
Wow.
Oh, wow, I'm the
And
only
honestly,
person that's been on a cruise.
And honestly, thinking about it after watching this movie, I have no desire to.
Mike, I'll tell you, and we were on like the top tier of the Disney cruise at the time, like walkout balcony, like concierge, like we had a goddamn butler. Really
Pools.
nice. Yeah,
Were you
like
first class, like fuck.
yeah, no, it was literally like first class. Like you
Andrew
go
had
in and you
Picasso
have like
hanging.
Yeah. No, it was kind of cool. We had like our own wait staff that came with us to each of our dinners, like our own designated waiter
Wow.
that was there and we had like, yeah, it was really expensive and it's the only cruise I've ever been on. But where I'm going with this is I would still not go on another cruise. Because night one, it
Really?
doesn't matter how it doesn't matter how nice the boat was. I got seasick on night one. Like, and I was like, and not
Did
only
you have a
that,
window
but
in
like
your room?
we had a balcony that you could walk
Oh,
out
okay,
on.
okay. Because
Like
there's some
the
rooms that have nothing.
So that would
Oh.
be even more miserable. Like where you just have
Yeah.
like a porthole window.
Yeah.
Yeah, no thank you. But I still got seasick on night one, and I remember they were saying like that the ocean when we were there wasn't even that bad in comparison to what was going on.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know if I'd ever do a cruise or not. I don't know. I like the idea of more of a resort or a beach or something like that. I don't know, but maybe, who knows? To mention too, because we haven't even mentioned this part of the storyline yet. While things are kind of unraveling and people are starting to figure out about the boat crashing, Jack gets framed for stealing the necklace. Rose believes it at first. Always kind of bothers me a little bit, but she does at first. And then he gets handcuffed. I don't know. That whole scene is so much anxiety where she's going down there, tries to find the keys, can't, leaves to go get help. Finds the axe, goes back down, and the water's almost to the ceiling already. It's like, and it's freezing water, like freezing. So I don't know. What did you guys think of that scene? That's crazy.
I love when she like takes the axe and tries to aim for the handcuffs like with this much room, like just
And she closes her eyes.
her eyes are
Yeah, she closes. I like before that too. Jack's like, okay, hit the cabinet, and it's like try to hit the same spot, and it's like 5 feet away from that. He's like, oh my god,
perfect.
yeah. And he takes a deep breath. He's like, he's ready to lose a hand when she's throwing the axe.
Yeah,
and his hands are the money makers.
Yeah,
For real.
money
He's
makes
an artist. Yeah, so they get out, they escape. That's the part too where they have
Escape.
to deal with. Yeah, that's where they have to deal with them being locked, or that whole class of people being locked out from the workers, I guess, there that aren't letting them out. That whole part is insane too. We mentioned it earlier with the breaking up the classes. I love when they grabbed the bench and ran through the door, the cage door.
What was the mentality with that? Why not let them out?
They're trying to get all the rich on the boat.
Well, not even that. No, they the kids and the woman were supposed to come out first, and everybody was just bum rushing it, like the men included. I think that was a big part of it too.
I think that's exactly what would happen in today's world as well. Like,
I mean, again, it's survival. You fight or flight. Like,
yeah.
like, I don't blame you.
Well,
Yeah.
when you have 2,200 people and you have less than 2 hours to try to get them on these boats, to survive, and you're breaking it up by having women and children first, it probably is hard to get everyone on there, but keeping them locked down there when water is rising quickly, it's fucked up. So
I mean, look at the time period.
Nowadays,
No.
I'd have a wig on. I'd be like, "Listen up, just a little lady."
Yeah, yes, bitch, yes.
Yes, get me on a lifeboat.
Yeah, and Rose gets 2 different chances to get on a lifeboat and doesn't.
She jumps off of it.
Yeah.
See, like, to be honest with you, that's the type of like love I need. Like, if a woman's not like willing to jump off a boat.
Mike, put that on like your in your dating thing, Tinder. Need to be capable of jumping off life.
I'll post it on Instagram tonight. Like, if you want to date me, like the requirement is you have to make the same sacrifice Rose did.
Okay.
Well, they only knew each other for what, 3 days?
Exactly.
So
that's my
and
question.
that once.
Do you think they would make it? What, like, let's say they both lived. they made it to wherever they're going, do you think their relationship would survive?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Probably. I feel
They
like
tell
it might.
it's like, imagine that's like you telling like Vin you love him after 4 days. 4 days, and they told each
Hey,
other.
people do that though, and then they fall out of love.
I'm not people, but I mean,
That's
But
what I did with
I
Mike.
do think,
Yeah.
and not to jump ahead, but like at the very end when they're showing the pictures of her life, they show like the horse and everything like that, where she learned how to ride a horse, and Jack told her he was going to teach her. She ended up doing things that her and Jack discussed, so I feel like in a way they would have been together. And I do feel like at the very end they allude to them being together and like a purgatory type heaven realm.
Oh, I was gonna say,
Sorry.
yeah, that's.
But
No,
I do think to Erica's question though, I do think they would have been together. So, but yeah, I guess we can get to the point where the boat has split and the ship's starting to go vertical. I think it was really smart for them to go all the way up to the top and then like sit on the rails. Because they knew people are going to start falling off this thing, everything like that. And the shots of people falling, like that one guy hitting the propeller and then spinning into the water, crazy. Yeah, you're seeing people fly off the boat, and it's funny to see people jump off the boat to like the boat's eventually going to take you to the water anyways. So I don't know. That's kind of funny.
Like almost trying to take control of the situation when you literally
If
have.
I jump, I
You're gonna end
won't
in the water
die.
either way.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're gonna be in the water sinking. Yeah.
I can see jumping when the boat's like starting to break in half, because you don't know that it's gonna go all the way up. Like, you're not a mathematician or a scientist, like you wouldn't know that. But when the boat's literally like vertical as it can be, like
90-degree angle.
what is the thought process
yeah.
of jumping off of it when you know it's just going down?
Maybe it was just too tiring to hold on at that point.
Or it's kind
Yeah,
of what
that's
Jack
fair.
was saying, where he's like, it's gonna suck you down. So maybe like people thought if they could jump and like outswim it before it sucked them down. But that's what I'm wondering, like, if Jack and Rose, like realistically, if that boat were going down and they were sucked down, like I feel like they would have been sucked way down there. Like, like I don't know how that works, but if I had to guess, they're going
I
down.
approve, I approve that message.
Yeah, because it's hard to swim against that current too if it's sinking like that, and yeah.
Yeah, and Rose grabs, or he just magically comes back up. I thought that was going to be it, where it's like they're gone, they're done for good. And I was already having like a tear come down my eye. And then when Leo comes up or Jack comes up, I was like, oh, what would you fucking know? Like, of course.
We still have
I can swim.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then too, you see, I think he's a cop or security or whatever it is. But he shoots one of Jack's buddies on accident, ends up taking his own life. Like, you are seeing people try to either take a way out, or they're scared, right, for their lives. So,
which is valid.
Yeah, it is. But it's crazy to see it, on the screen, and the fact too, you see a man shoot himself. There is a little nudity in this movie. It's PG-13, which is kind of crazy. I didn't realize that, but I guess that makes sense as to how it made that much money in the first place.
we have to ask one of the grand questions here. Could Jack have fit
on the door?
Yep.
So I want to say really quick, there was a Mythbuster on it. I don't know if you saw this, Andrew.
I did.
There's
not.
a Mythbuster on it like 10 years ago where they tried to do it. Apparently, okay, so if they both get on it, it starts to sink, right?
Yeah.
Apparently, they found out if they were to take the one life jacket, and tie it underneath the door and tie it, then it could support the weight of both of them. But it's like, how the hell in that moment? How are you supposed to know that?
See, that would have been my first thought. I'd take off the life jacket, get it tied underneath the door, nice bow knot.
Yeah, you got to tie it good too.
Yeah, nice bow knot. All right, now we float away. No, all right, that's fair. So technically, yes.
Technically, yes. Yes,
Okay.
they would have if they had the knowledge. They could have. Yes.
So we're at that point.
Jack it on.
Rose.
Rose did.
Rose had a life jacket.
Yeah, Rose did. Jack did.
And she got the door.
Yeah.
Door
She's
and
lucky.
a life jacket. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she got the
I mean,
pep talk from Jack while she's on the door and he's in the water and he's pep talking her. I'm just saying.
You got this. I'm gonna sit here freeze to death.
And
you
she
go
just
have a
watched
good
him.
life. Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like,
Well, no, she
damn.
didn't. She did.
She's like,
She
damn,
was.
that looks
She fell asleep.
cold. That
Yeah.
looks really cold.
She ended up falling asleep.
Well, yeah, and then honestly, so we're at that point now. This is the point that really got me when she's like, "Yeah, like I'll do all this stuff," and she just lets go of his hand, and he just starts sinking. I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah, I know.
Very
When you
sad.
guys were seeing the movie, did you guys not know about the door part at the end or anything like that?
Oh
You didn't know
no,
about that?
I knew about that.
Okay.
I feel like that's
yeah.
pretty
I didn't.
romantic. You didn't?
No.
Oh wow. Actually, that was like one of the. I knew that the boat sank. I knew about the door. I think that's it.
Yeah, because the door debate's a huge deal. It's always
Yeah.
been. So yeah.
That was what I knew about this movie before I watched it.
Wow.
Yeah, and her jumping in the water to go get the whistle was very smart. It was also really eerie. It was so eerie to watch them go through the floating dead bodies, and when you see the guy holding the baby girl,
Ooh,
breaks my heart.
Yeah.
It's hard to watch.
Mhm.
Just all froze to death.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm happy that they went back and that she was smart enough to go get the whistle, because obviously she wouldn't have the strength to be able to yell, "Hey, like I'm over here." You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's cold.
makes sense.
Help me.
Yeah. What did you guys think of Cal living at the end? Or he makes it back? I don't know. I mean, he ends up taking his life. The depression got him.
Oh
The
yeah.
Great Depression in '29. Yeah, but I always hated when I was younger that he made it and that Jack didn't. So
Well, I'm glad that she's seen him and didn't say a single fucking word to him.
yeah, I mean, he
Yeah.
pulls a gun on them, tries to shoot them. I mean, you figure out he's just trying to take the necklace back that's in
Yeah.
his coat pocket. But
Yeah.
and her discovering that she had it was really cool too at the end.
Okay, so
That's when she takes the Dawson name too.
well, 100%. And we're at this point now. When she got on the edge of the boat in present day time, I was fully convinced that she was gonna jump off that bitch. I did not think she was just. I did not think she was just.
No.
I did not think she was just gonna sit up there and just drop the necklace in the ocean. Like, I was fully convinced that she was ready just to jump.
Oh, and Erica, you might have noticed this since you've seen it a few times. At the very beginning, when Bill Paxton's character Brock is explaining to older Rose and her granddaughter about them looking for the necklace and that it's still missing, it
Mhm.
pans over and he's talking to the granddaughter, but you see Rose's eyes and like they shift, so like she knows something that they don't. So you
Yeah.
can kind of tell right from the beginning, maybe if you're reading her face enough, and you really have to be paying attention, that she has it the whole time.
Oh yeah.
I told you guys, like, I 1,000,000% thought I knew that, like, almost right away.
I did not pick up on that right away. To be completely honest, it took me a little bit of time.
I feel like you just
Do you like that
assume it
ending?
gets like dropped somewhere, or
Yeah,
you
that's
have
kind
no
of my
clue.
thought process.
Yeah.
But
They have other things to deal with when the ship's going down than the necklace. But
Fair.
Erica, do you like that ending to the movie?
yeah, I didn't. She dies at the end, right? Is that a thing?
I interpreted it that way. Yeah.
Yeah.
like,
You
she's
don't
in
know
the
for
bed.
sure, but
Yeah, they leave it up for interpretation, but I thought the same thing. She's
Well, she
God.
walked in purgatory, according to Josh.
well, that's what I
No.
thought. She went and saw Jack and
Yeah.
the clock.
No, she went and saw Jack. I think that's kind of just a reference that she did pass and that she's with Mr. Dawson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Dawson.
So there was an alternate ending to this movie that was shot, but James Cameron ended up deciding not to go with it. Where Rose is holding the necklace, she's about to drop it, and her granddaughter and Bill Paxton's character Brock are talking on the other side of the boat, but they see her on the edge, and so they freak out. They run over there to go see
They
what's
push
going
her.
on because they probably think she's jumping in too, like Mike did. And she's got the necklace. She's holding it overboard. They're screaming, "Please, no! Don't throw it! Don't drop it!" And so she lets Bill Paxton's character look at it. He looks at it. She takes it back, and she explains the premise of the movie, why she's dropping it, everything like that. But basically, if you watch the movie, you understand the premise and why she does what she does at the end. So he ended up cutting it, which I'm happy he did. I feel like this is one of the alternate endings that you're happy that didn't happen, because I feel like it would have ruined the movie.
And that would have
She had to
added
walk you through.
another hour, which we don't need.
Yeah. It was like another 6-minute scene. That
4
I mean-
hours, and I would have not been on this episode.
Because there's no
3
way they
was
would
already.
just let her launch it. Like, they'd go psycho
No.
trying to find it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she
And
ends
they
up
would find
drowning
it.
again.
They would find
Yeah.
it anyway. This is a better ending because they don't know that it's thrown in the water.
Yeah.
And they're just going to be done with it. But, yeah, I
And
agree
he's
with you.
basically given up on finding it too.
Yeah.
The cigar he had been saving for 3 years.
Yeah.
Threw it overboard.
On a
does
very,
anyone
on a very,
know- Yeah, does anyone know how much the necklace is actually worth? Like, is it worth
Not
more than
really.
all of the trips down there? You know?
I
It must
imagine,
to
I
some degree.
imagine so. I imagine so. Because who had it? Like some prince in the 16th century or something like that. Like I don't know I forgot like what the premise of it was.
I
It's
have
such
it,
a big
if you guys
diamond,
want
too.
it.
Do you?
Oh, you have that too?
Yeah.
And the painting?
Yep. Bit of a
Oh, wow.
Titanic collector.
Honestly,
That
Andrew,
movie.
just give me the painting and I'll be good.
All yours, Mike. I have to take
Thank
it down
you.
every time Emma comes, so we don't. There's
Really?
not like a conflict.
No,
Yeah,
yeah, don't get in trouble.
under the
I get
bed.
that.
Yeah,
Collector's item.
I put it under the bed, then I hang it back up. Under the bed, hang it back up.
Well, you should have a lever where it's just like the wall flips, just another poster, and then she leaves, and then it's just back to Rose.
Good idea, Mike. I like that.
Yeah, so let's go over the movie trivia for this. There's a lot of good ones outside the ones I mentioned earlier. At around the 2 hour and 30-minute mark, the elderly couple seen hugging on the bed was based off 2 real people. And here's the exact quote is, "As we live together, we shall die together." That's what she told one of the passengers that ended up living. Yeah, it's sad. Watching it too, the fact he put it in the movie is sad. We mentioned this one earlier too. James Cameron went on 12 dives to go see the real Titanic himself. I think that helped out the movie, especially the shots he ended up getting. After finding out that she was going to have to be naked in front of Leonardo DiCaprio, Kate Winslet decided to break the ice when she first met him, and she flashed him. It's a good way to do it. Just get it right out of the way.
Good icebreaker.
Mr. Leo, lucky guy. You
Yeah.
devious dog.
Erica, did you have a crush on Leo when you were younger in this movie? I feel like all the girls did. Okay.
Well,
he's
I
dreamy.
mean, Erica, now like you have a perfect shot with him. You're still in your early 20s. Like that's what he likes
Once
nowadays.
you're 25 or older, yeah,
Yeah,
he's done.
25, you don't have a chance. But anything
That's
below
true.
that,
Can ask Vin if we can postpone for like a year, maybe 2.
At around the 2 hours and 35-minute mark, in the scene where the water comes crashing into the grand staircase room, the filmmakers had to only nail it in one shot because the entire set and furnishing were going to get destroyed. That's I don't know. That's a big
that's
scene
crazy.
too. Only
there's so
one
much
take.
pressure.
Yeah.
Imagine like you're filming it, something fucks up, and like James Cameron's just like fuck, and you hear it in like the actual movie. Yeah.
The collision with the iceberg reportedly lasted 37 seconds, which is how long the collision scene lasted in the movie. Pretty cool. Attention to detail. Yeah.
Very, lot of respect for that.
Yeah.
That's
At
all
around
right.
the 1 hour, 26-minute mark, the hand sketching rows are not Leonardo DiCaprio's, but director James Cameron. In post-production, Cameron, who is left-handed, mirror image the sketch and shots of
what
artists that
can't
appear to be
this guy
right-handed like
do?
DiCaprio.
What can't he do?
He can draw. Yeah, he's amazing.
He
I
can't
don't know why
make me
Mike doesn't
like
like-
him. He can't make me like him. That's something that he can do.
Now,
For
if
one
we got
thing-
him on here, I feel like
Mike
might
would have
have.
to interview him.
No,
Yeah.
I would 1,000,000% be so happy to interview him. I would be ecstatic to do that because I would do my homework and I'd give him attention to detail about all the things that he's fucked up in his career. And I
Honestly,
would make him
he'd probably like you for that.
probably just that's because he's so egotistical.
Yeah.
He doesn't think that he's just
You
could
might
be- he
actually
could-
gain his respect and be like, someone that almost has a match with me. Almost,
Yeah.
keyword.
fuck that guy.
This is my last one right here. Gloria Stewart, being 86, was aged up by makeup to play Rose at age 100. She did not find this pleasant as a pleasant experience. She did die in 2010 at age 100.
Wow.
Kind of crazy.
That's kind of
Hey,
weird.
there's James Cameron's attention to detail, I guess. I mean,
Yeah,
what
he's
can't this
like
guy do?
Predicting
at
the future.
Yeah,
at a
predicting the
hundred. He's
future.
like, so I'm gonna need you to drink this for the accuracy of the story.
It's fucked up.
That's fucked up.
That is a little fucked up.
100 years though, that's incredible.
Yeah.
That seems like something James Cameron would do too. You know, Andrew?
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, do you guys want to get into scores for this movie? I feel like one of you guys who saw it for the first time should go first. We shouldn't make Erica go
Mr.
first.
Ballas.
All right, I will go first. We actually did, I feel like, a decent job of walking through this movie. And I think, like Josh said, it's broken up into parts, which makes it a little bit more feasible. It being over 3 hours is definitely that's the thing I gotta emphasize. This is the longest thing I've ever watched in my life. I can't think of a movie that I've watched that is longer than this. But it did actually keep my attention, which is surprising as well, that I was able to sit down and actually enjoy this. Because I really did not have, I don't want to say I had low expectations, because I know this is like a renowned movie, but I just thought this was going to be one of the ones where I'm like, this ain't for me. Like, get through it and be like, I see how people like this, but this isn't for me. Where I watched this and I was like, no, this is actually pretty good. And it holds up pretty well. So thank you, Erica, for recommending this one to us. Because I would have, maybe I would have got around to it one day, but definitely not as soon as I did. So no, I enjoyed it. I think Leo was a really, really good casting pick. And I could see how, like, especially then, people, like, I think Josh, you asked, like, oh, did you have a little crush on him? I could see how people got, handsome dude for the movie.
You kind of look like him, Andrew.
I get Michael B. Jordan a lot. Josh gets Leonardo DiCaprio.
Brad Pitt, usually.
Or Brad Pitt.
Mean, I've heard Ellen a lot for Josh, but that's.
I mean, I've heard Ellen too, but usually I hear Leo.
Which is still a great compliment.
We have the same network.
Ellen, yeah, 100%. I think Ellen is very gorgeous.
Hear that, Josh? That's pretty good.
She's a beautiful wife.
Yeah. Anyway, out of 100, I think I'm gonna go 85. 85 out of 100. And I feel like I could probably go a little bit lower, but I got to give it props because of how old it is. 1997? Pretty damn good for where this movie's at. Like, it deserves some respect. I don't think it's 100, but it deserves some respect. Go ahead, Mike.
Let me go next here, man. Now I'm going to start off with the positives here.
40.
Yeah, 38 actually. No, I'm kidding. Kate and Leo do an awesome job. I think there really couldn't have been a better casting duo. So kudos to James Cameron, and more so kudos to them for getting casted, and James obviously casting them. I think they are absolutely stellar. There is a lot of attention to detail, and like Andrew said, for 1997, I was absolutely amazed at how good this looked. I had to like double check what year like this came out, like halfway through the movie, because I was like, there's no way this didn't come out in like the early 2000s at the bare minimum. So I was really, really surprised with that. But it was cool to kind of learn some new stuff too. I think there's definitely some things that obviously are a little romanticized in the movie just because it is a movie. But there's some things that I definitely learned kind of just throughout this adventure of a life story of 4 hours, what it felt like. But with that said, and all my griefs aside with James Cameron, I'm going to go 87 out of 100. I still think this is a very good movie. And I think for the time, I can see why it got so much buzz and it made so much money. And the one thing I will say too, as well, James Cameron, you did a good job with taking that percentage instead of that payout, because I can't imagine how much money he raked in just from taking that percentage. And he's still going to be making that the rest of his life too, Oh
yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, 87 out of 100.
It's a good score.
Nice.
Erica, do you want to go next?
You can go.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So you guys nailed it perfectly. I do want to add into like the fact that he was able to tie in so many things that really did happen into the movie while also, yeah, it is romanticized to a certain degree, I still like how close it was to what really happened. And I really do appreciate that. And like I said, there's more characters to feel connections for and sympathy for than just Jack and Rose and all those people you saw without faces, really, who you didn't really get a speaking role from. I think there's like 250 people that got like speaking roles with over 1,000 extras, and you see it too when they all jump in at the very end when the Titanic's completely sunk, and you just see all those people with the white vests on.
Yep.
It's a crazy scope of a scene, and when it ties things in like that, it's really cool. Now there are certain aspects, especially maybe in the first half, where they could have cut it down a little bit more. I don't think it needed to be 3:15, but probably 2 hours 50 or something like
Agreed.
that. It still had to be a longer movie, but it
Yeah.
probably didn't have to be that long.
Cut
So,
out like 25 minutes.
yeah, so I might knock it for that. But honestly, rewatching it, and this is my third time seeing it, I was not bored for a minute. I still did enjoy certain aspects, and I still did get emotional. So I'm gonna go with a 90. I really do enjoy this movie. I do understand why it got as much money it did in the box office. I think it was a movie you had to go see. It was an event. I feel like to see in theaters. So I wish I would have saw it in 3D.
Yeah. I feel like, so I kind of told you guys this before, like, I'm definitely not a movie person. Don't even watch TV, like, hardly ever, unless I'm watching The Bachelorette. If I'm watching a movie, it's a Titanic. Like, I feel like it's such, like, a comfort movie for me, which is weird because it's not
That's
a comfort
crazy.
movie to watch at all. Like, it's like my
crazy.
background noise movie. Just because I feel like when I watch this movie, like, I don't have to pick like a genre I want to watch. Like, you don't have to pick an emotion because it literally hits everything. Like, it's the romance, you get the history, you get the suspense, like, you get all of that, and then just like feeling happy, sad. Like, you kind of get to feel everything when you watch this one movie, which I don't know. I appreciate that. And then, of course, like the love story, we love it. You know what's going to happen, so it's not like, I don't know, doesn't keep you on your toes too much, but it's still like, it's well crafted to where like you don't know exactly how it's going to happen. So if I have to give my rating, I'm not going to listen to you guys and give it lower. 100% for me.
Wow.
Wow.
Yo, I'm
Okay.
glad you stuck to your guns there.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
I was gonna
I'm
go
glad.
with 88 to please the crowd, but no, I have to
No.
stick to me.
That's not the goal here.
100%.
Stick. Yep.
Yep.
1,000% on that. Say as you
Speaking my
feel.
truth.
This is your
Well, sometimes
movie.
we'll even get into it too, where we'll let one of our scores kind of change our score, like influence us in a way. So what we've tried to do, and I know most of us do it, is we try to write down our scores beforehand, just so we won't let
smart.
anyone change our minds early.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that you stuck to your guns.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I will say, Erica, what you were talking about with like the all different types of emotions and genres in this one film, that's actually something that's a really good point. I didn't think about that until you said that, and I do agree with you. I think that is something that is captured really well. Like you said, like the happy and the sad, like it really does have everything when it comes to that.
Yeah. See, you just influenced Mike. Mike's going to change his score now.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. If anything, I'm going to drop it down just because James Cameron is the
James
director.
Cameron, everyone.
Yeah, really.
All right, see you guys. Bye.
No, but I want to say thank you, Erica, so much for being on.
Thank you.
If you end up finding another movie you like in the future, we'd love to have you back. But yeah, this is a great movie to do.
One stipulation, Erica. It just can't be a James Cameron movie. That's all I ask of you.
Or 3 hours plus.
Yeah,
that's where I come in. Yeah, you got to keep it under, like right around that 2 hour mark. My sweet spot. I can do that and not like this. The other day, I don't even remember what you asked if we could do something, Josh. And I was like, no, sorry, I gotta watch this 3.5 hour movie. So
Monopoly.
Oh yeah, we were gonna play Monopoly online, and I was like, sorry, dude, gotta commit to this six day event here to watch this movie for me. It only took 2 actually, but
yeah,
it was good.
Well, yeah, if you split it up in between, you could definitely.
It was worth it.
I feel like that's not a bad idea. Yeah.
No, Josh, if you ever want to do a Bachelor recap, I'm here for you.
Oh yeah, we might have to do that. That's a good point, actually.
I won't be on that one.
I'll have to convince Mike to do it.
I will not be either.
No, that'd be fun. No, but thank you everyone for listening. This is our Titanic review. We'll be back on Friday. We're doing the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, Mutant Mayhem. It's getting great reviews, so I'm excited to see it.
We might even be eating some pizza while we're doing that one.
We actually have Master Splinter as a guest star. His name is Aiden Bender. He's the biggest rat that we know, actually. So I'm gonna even dress as Michelangelo with the headband. I'm gonna paint myself green. It's gonna be a big event. You guys have to
Mike,
watch
that's a good idea. You, me, Josh, and Brian should all get different color headbands. Let's not tell Aiden.
Yeah.
And then
I'm so down for that. I'm so down for that.
And then we'll
He's
just
like,
start.
I didn't know you guys were dressing up, and you're like, you already did.
Yeah,
you already did.
Yeah, you already did. You're Master Splinter.
That'd be
That's a good idea. We're gonna do that.
No, thank you everyone for listening, and we'll see you guys next time.
See you guys.
Peace.